thought I would update you on the summer garden out here going on. Needs some weeding done, of course, but the coneflower has really taken off. It looks really healthy. It's probably one of the healthiest things I have going on in it's healthier than I am right now. But it's really looking good. We've got some cosmos started here, and these, which I'm thinking that this is supposed to be a Cheyenne spirit, but so far all of these are the same. They might be one of the peach varieties that I had last year that I thought had died off, and maybe I moved it thinking it would come back, and here it is. So we'll see. I haven't seen any other color but this peach, and it's really pretty. Let's see. Oh, it smells very perfumey like the one last year, so I must have tried to salvage it and it worked. This is a random calendula that I decided to leave here. It's a little crowded, but it seems very happy. So this is definitely a Cheyenne spirit here, because you can see the mix of colors here. Very nice. This is a salvia, which is perked up after I moved it away from an area that wasn't getting enough sun. This is some tick seed. That's a Veronica, a pink variety. The hollyhocks, which will not bloom until next year, are right behind these because they're going to be a lot taller. So they're kind of positioned where when they get full size, they're not going to block the sun of anything. And my sunflowers. We staked them. We had some pretty high winds last week. Almost lost some of them. So we staked some that were getting pretty tall. I have some stakes ready for some that are growing. And I think I have a rabbit that is trying to eat some of them. So, you know, you get what you get, you lose what you lose. But yeah, these are some bite-ins. These are apparently really good for feeding birds. So hopefully, I mean, they look much happier than when I first put them in. So very nice. And I got a hanging basket here. These are Vinca, I think. Yep. And my columbine is finally coming up. Man, these took forever. I think I used a ton of seed packets, and I don't know if I pulled them up thinking that they were clover early on because they didn't quite look like this. But some columbine here, that will bloom next year. The alyssum really took off. I've got some white there. That's the blanket of snow. And this is the royal carpet, which wasn't as dark as I thought it was going to be, but that could be the sunlight making it fade, I guess. But it's still very pretty. This is a potentilla that I staked because it was starting to lean over. And in between here are some dwarf sunflowers. They're only going to get about 2 feet high with like 7 to 9 inch heads. That's going to be really interesting. It might be a little crowded as they are. I'm very excited about these zinnias. Those are going to be pink, purple, and red, and they're going to be very pretty. This is one of my surviving bachelor's buttons that from my original seeding of late spring or early spring, I think. No, not early. That would have been too early. Maybe mid-spring. And it's looking great. The rest of them washed down this hill because it just had too much runoff. So I decided to keep what did come up, which these are kind of a surprise. And I ended up making a new place for them over here. And this is a different seeding. Clearly they're a lot shorter. Tried to space them out, and the ones that I spaced out, just they're not liking it too much. It's just too hot, I think. But yeah, these zinnias kind of make a border here. And then this I am so excited about. My bee balm did not bloom last year. Now it is a little sick right now. It's got some powdery mildew and some yellowing, some singeing as well. It's been very hard to keep this area nice and healthy for it, but it is doing better than last year because it did bloom this year. And this, I believe, was called Panorama. And that's why it has these two different colors. I'm thinking maybe it might just be a mix of these two, but they are so pretty. And yesterday my mom and I sat out here once the heat broke, and we sat out here and spent some time in the garden, and we saw so many bees, and they were all over this thing. This bee balm struggled last year because it was next to pumpkins that ended up very mildewy. Oh, there's a few bees right now. Oh, this one's a little fast. I can't quite get there. There you are. Yeah, they love this thing. Of course, it is called bee balm. And I will eventually have to do something about the barrier here because this thing will spread. It is in the mint family. So I have to do something about that. But yeah, and then we've got a couple more sunflowers doing really well as they grow. And yeah, so right now oh man, that's only 2 beds that I talked about. I'll just have to make this call this the I don't know, backyard tour, I guess. So this is the bed that I made or remade this year. Last year it had like 0 drainage, and a lot of the things that were in it suffered greatly because of that. So it was redone, it was mounded up a little bit better, and yeah, many things were moved around. And yeah, so this is phlox, garden phlox. The hummingbird loves this thing. He loved it last year when it was in the center mound. And yeah, my blanket flower I had to stake. It kind of started to fall over. This is Mesa Peach blanket flower. And speedwell. Purple cone flower, which right now is looking incredibly pink. Which I've always thought purple cone flower looked a little bit more pink than purple, but I guess it depends on what people see. That's gay feather. Okay, I couldn't remember what I put there. Yeah, this is supposed to also attract a lot of bees and butterflies. Some black-eyed Susans. I think I have 2 different varieties in here. This one was from last year. It's looking way better than it did last year. This one also suffered from mildew, and it's looking fantastic. This struggled because something was eating it. It looks like some bugs are eating it now. But something ate this down to the really just down to this little stem down here not too long ago, and it came back very nicely. It's I guess they call it hyssop. I'm not sure if it's true hyssop or not. I think I got this thinking it was hummingbird mint, and it wasn't exactly. So I went back and got hummingbird mint, which is right there. What is this one? Something's been eating this. It could be either the rabbit or could be bugs. But yeah, something's been just devouring that. This is an aster, and the other one over there is looking terrible. That one is also an aster. This is penstamen, also known as beard tongue. So I got a couple of those. I'm trying to speed this up because I said the video would be short. It's actually getting long. So a couple salvias that I moved. They're not looking too good. This one I think needs a little bit more water, but you know, salvia is pretty tough. I think it'll come back. This is a coral bell, sorry. Jacob's ladder. So this is a little bit more under the trees, so it gets a lot less of the sun going on. This is later in the day, so it's not going to get it too much. What was this again? Oh, lupine. That's right, lupine. I wanted that because I think it also attracts bees. Oh, butterfly garden. So yeah. That's the aster that's not looking good. Other than this clover here, we have some shoots, which I believe are my Shasta daisies that I seeded, which will not bloom until next year. And I think to give it kind of a nice design, I put them alternating between some of these plants. This is Indian feather, is what it said it was called. Garden phlox, the Uptown Girl variety. And I have them spaced kind of how they should be. Of course, I have some daisies in between. We'll see if that ends up too crowded. Garden phlox tends to need some airflow, because even though there are varieties that are mildew resistant, some of them really need some help with that, so you need a lot of airflow. I forgot what variety this was called, but it's really pretty. This is the garden phlox I said I had last year. We're back to the blanket flower. And these are wild flax, which also will not bloom until next year, but after that I believe they will self-seed. It'll be very nice. Alright, so the center mound. Hopefully you're not annoyed by my nasally voice today. So we have Angelina sedum. It's about, no, I put it in last year and it decided to bloom this year. So it's these little star-like flowers. It's really pretty. Some of this stuff looked a little bit better earlier in the year, but it's been really dry now. Of course, I have all this mix of petunias here. Some wave petunias, some regular petunias. A lot of weeding to be done. Some marigolds. This is leaning over a bit. I've got some of this salvia here. And I love the salmon petunias as well. And I think that's pretty much all I've got in here. There's a ton of petunias and just a handful of those perennials, the salvia and the sedum. So, yeah. So that's kind of the sun garden in the backyard. Oh yeah, this is a bed that my niece is working on. Some of these zinnias seeded from last year. So we have some dianthus. Try and keep the dog away from the dianthus. It's not good for them. So we don't really let her in here. Petunias that are finally taking off after they were fed. She wanted some chamomile in here. Really need to weed this. And then this other bed, that's a bridge we're working on. This other bed is also similar. I forgot what this was called. I'll have to edit that and tell you what this is called. We replaced this because some of her annual salvia did not make it in the storm. So we got a replacement red color. I'll put it somewhere in the video. So that was the progress made on the full sun portion of the backyard flower garden. Hope you like what you see. I'll make more videos as things start to fill out more. Maybe make some slower videos too. But I thought since it had been a while, I'd just give you a quick update. And I hope that you're having a wonderful summer.